Well, we live in a world where for a lot of people, debt, bashi, aronkudi, borrowing has become a part of life and they just cannot do without it. But is it possible to actually do without death? I've heard people say over and over again that even the most developed nations still borrow. So why should I not borrow? A lot of excuses to explain why you need to borrow money and why you need to live the life you actually want to live. But is it actually possible to overcome debt addiction? We're not just talking about borrowing, but the addiction that it has already become part of you. You cannot just do without it. This is today's live on Equa Television International. We're so glad. We are happy that you could join on this fresh edition. And God helping us, we trust that at the end of this conversation, you'll find reasons to be contented, like Paul said, with what you have, rather than you looking or opting for options that you just get money, acquire money to just live lavish lifestyle. But rather, you will say that I've had moments that I had enough. There are moments that I had little, but I'm contented in all of that. I know what it means to be hungry. I know what it means to have. But in any of the moments that I find myself, I can actually just put on the garment of contentment and say, thank you, Jesus, for this moment that I found myself. And today we're talking about overcoming debt addiction. Can you actually overcome that? My name is Joyce Jakada. We are live on Facebook and YouTube at Equa Television International. I would like to know your thoughts on this topic. Kindly go to our Facebook page, drop your comments. Our WhatsApp line will also be on the screen for you to also just chat us up. What are your thoughts on overcoming debt addiction? Is it possible to overcome it? If no, how can you just survive? How can you just live through the season or the moments? I'm not doing this alone. I have able, capable team right here to do this with me. Jemima Emmanuel is here. Sambo Solomon is also here. And yours sincerely, my one and only.
Finally, we have been introduced on this. This is the longest introduction of a 1 hour show in the history of television
If you know,
in the world. You sound like somebody that just came out of debt. So, and with the long introduction, you are encouraging people to wear the garment. You say garment of righteousness. or what?
contentment.
Sentiment.
See, I think that's just the only antidote to overcoming debt addiction. Just be contented. There's nothing you explain. You can tell people 100 ways to overcome debt addiction, but see, if you are not contented, you still find yourself borrowing. Like I said, for some people it has become a lifestyle. Do you know there are people that borrow to settle debt?
If you check why people borrow, it's funnier than the funniest thing. Most of the time, people borrow to the extent that they are known with that nature. And when they want to borrow for the right reasons, people will not give them because they have borrowed for the wrong reasons. So why would you sit down and there are certain areas you can go to, there are some you cannot go to? Because in each area, you are a debtor.
Or you're looking for the shortcut or the back
That
door.
is where you go and meet the other woman that you collected 2008 from. It's not a good thing. Even the scripture says that he who borrows is a slave to the one who gave him. So if you want to be a slave, because you don't have peace of mind, and there's nothing like a mental slavery. There's nothing like mental slavery. You don't have peace of mind. You cannot go to certain places. You are even afraid of going to church because the people you borrowed from, and all that. Even organizations, they have modified ways that people can borrow money. They call it, is it association? Oh, no, cooperative. Some people will keep borrowing. Then they will go December and say, please, how much do I have? They say, no, how much are you giving us?
Interest.
You borrowed everything. You borrowed your own. You borrowed people's own. You borrowed the cooperatives. You borrowed everything. You are the one that is supposed to pay. And if you check, the people who borrow, they don't borrow to make their lives better. They borrow to satisfy an immediate useless need. most of the time, it's something that is perishable that people borrow over. Go and check. Most of the time, it's perishable things that people borrow over. There is a wedding, you don't have money for the uniform. You don't have to be there. There is an occasion, you don't have money to look good. Wear what you have or stay at home. You don't have to borrow. These things, people will be like, oh, you look good, and that's it. Christmas, they carry umbrella the bash. There's no interpretation for this one. If you don't understand, that's it, you know. But you see, a lot of people, even at work, there was a time that somebody called me and said, look, tell this your staff that if the person does not want trouble, I'll come and disgrace the person in the office. The person borrowed money from me, he's not picking call. I will call the person will not pick. I will text the person will not respond. Warn that person. Me, I don't have sense. So why would you even go and borrow from somebody
that does not have sense?
You know that they collect the collection time. It's not going to be because a senseless person. How do you want to collect something peacefully from a senseless person?
It's just like this, the loan apps that you just see people just go and collect loan. And you know, funny enough, I learned that some just give 3 days or 5 days. And then the interest is almost like 30%, 25%.
Joyce,
and
if it's not a foolish organization, do you know that some people call you and tell you, please, can I have 20,000? First thing in the morning, I'll give you. If the problem if you can solve it till morning, why are you borrowing to pay for it?
Maybe it has to do with life and death.
It's not life and death. If you have energy to send a text or call, you should have energy to wait till morning.
That's why I said some people borrow to settle another debt because probably the other person is at his neck.
Have you ever been called by a number to tell you, mostly it's a 01 number, to tell you that your friend Solomon Sambo Sabi borrowed 200,000 from Jemima that borrowed from Tony. So 2 of them now is 600,000. And you are a guarantor. Tell him to avoid embarrassment. How can you embarrass somebody in Nigeria with that kind of? No, the person is in Maiduguri, you are in Lagos, far apart as night and day. How do you want to embarrass the person?
They do that though. In fact, they go to the extent of putting obituary on your picture.
I'm still alive.
Yes.
I have not paid your money.
And then they post it, share it to your friends, to your contact, and they start with chronic debtor. Then they go into a chronic debtor on the run. When you see report to the nearest police station, that's just like 5 days after you collected money from them. And then the next thing, if you don't pay or they are not, they still put your picture and put obituary on it. And they won't stop there.
In your opening, you called the debtors addicts, right? You called them that debts. How did you put it? There's a way you said debt addicts or something.
Yeah, there are people that are debt addicts.
Joyce, if somebody is an addict, do you think putting obituary will touch his heart?
In fact, they called the lady. Did you know her response? Say, I thought I've died. You put my people obituary and you're calling. So the company are not giving up. They are saying, see, you have to pay that money.
They just do all they can.
People don't care. All these loan apps and all of that, they won't work perfectly in countries like Nigeria. They do that abroad a lot. But if you don't pay, there is a way they will collect their money. Or you serve a jail term. But here, how many people have gone to jail because they collected 100,000 and they can't pay? And foolishly, why would somebody hear that? You collect 100,000 and then they will give you 5 days to pay. What are you collecting the 100,000 for first?
Meet a want.
If you want to meet a want that you can pay in 5 days, there's no want that if you are sure you can pay in 5 days. It's just like somebody whose salary comes in on the 29th. Why are you borrowing on the 24th? No, why? You are sure that your salary will come 29th. Why are you borrowing? You can wait. 4 days hunger has never killed anybody in this world. And then there are people who know that you work. You see, there are some things that when people collect on credit, we know this is reasonable. Like going to take rice, 3 majors, this one.
That's a need.
You know that one is a need. It's not something you want. It's something you need. You have family, you have this, and you are, instead of going to borrow money for certain things. I hear that people even borrow money to go and drink.
Yes.
People borrow money to buy cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
You are borrowing at the expense of your own health.
They will even fight you for questioning what they will do with the money. I said
You
I'll
that is
pay you
giving them
now.
the money.
I say I'll pay you. What's your business?
Why don't I have people like that? Joyce, I can't remember the last time I borrowed somebody money. Because rather than borrowing someone, if someone has a 20,000 naira need, if you have 5,000, you can dash the person, give the person and tell him, now you are not looking for 20, you are looking for 15. Go and look for it. Than to give the 20 and be expecting that you'll be paid. 11 out of 10 people that borrow money don't return it. Understand it the way
I
you
saw
want.
a funny post a lady made. She said this 2024, anything more than 2K she has removed her hand from in terms of borrowing. That because last year she saw Shege in her words. that
Okay, she
all
borrowed or people
all
borrowed
the
from
people
her.
she borrowed money to didn't pay her, one excuse to the other. So she said this year, no matter how the situation is, that it will not pass 2,000.
I see, in those days, there are people who move around the areas. We didn't have phones, we didn't have NIN, we didn't have nothing, we didn't have BVN, nothing. People who move around the area, they had Vespa machines. They move around the area, they collect money from people, and then you tick your card, and you can even borrow money from them. How do people used to pay that money? And people were diligent. With what life has become, nobody should expect that he will pay. He will pay anything you borrow someone, they will pay you back. No. Even nations that borrow, they look for what is a collateral to use to pay. During Obasanjo's time, there was debt cancellation. During Goodluck's time, there was debt cancellation. Why are they cancelling the debts? It's because the countries cannot pay back. Do you know how many countries in the world that we can almost say China owns this country? These countries, yes. Because they have borrowed and borrowed and borrowed, that even their country is not enough to be a collateral. Yes, there are countries like that. They just keep borrowing. So we have African leaders that will borrow money and not do the project, and they will eat the money. And then you hear that somebody has 250 trillion naira in his account. If you have 1 billion now, Solo, if you spend 1 million, in 1 year, you have not spent 50% of the money. Do you know that? Yes. No, yes. If you have 1 billion, you have 100. See, if you have 1 billion, you have 1,000 million. How many days do you have in a year? 365. So in a year, you have spent only 365 million. You have not reached 50%. So what are you spending 1 million on every day? So you see people keep stealing from monies that are being borrowed.
It is an addiction that a lot of people cannot be saved from. And just like you said earlier on, it happens from lack of contentment. If I know that I am working and I'm earning 5,000 naira, why would I want to live above that 5,000 naira?
Live within your means.
Why wouldn't I want to? If I'm below self, because I need to save a little. I might fall sick the next minute, and I might need to buy drugs or sorry. I need to buy drugs. So I should even be able to live below that 5,000 naira. Someone that is even earning 500 naira might need something from me that I should be able to give out. But then it all happens because of lack of contentment. We want to impress people that don't even matter. If are you going to impress somebody that is also earning 5,000 naira? It won't mean anything to the person. I know of this person that is addicted to borrowing airtime, and she doesn't borrow anything less than 5,000 naira.
I know her too.
She doesn't borrow anything less than 5,000. I get shocked.
Wow.
I get shocked
I know
about
her.
that. And the day she would be refunding,
She's watching today's life.
She's
the
not
day
watching.
she would be
They're watching
refunding.
out this life.
I know it can't be me. Even 100 naira, I don't borrow.
I didn't call name. I say I know the person.
Okay.
I say I know the person.
Okay. Both of us know
Me,
the
I know
person.
the person.
So the day she would be refunding.
She's borrowing how much, is it?
The day 5,000 naira.
I sent her 20,000 to pay this same person to pay that.
Wow. So the day she'll be refunding that 5,000
it's
naira.
not because of
she
her
will be
Jemima.
borrowing another one immediately.
It's
yes,
not
sir.
because of her, it's because of the name of the station. So that the network will not come and say that
Okay.
his staff of has borrowed. She borrowed 80-something thousand naira to only God knows who she called.
Wow.
Why EE like this? She didn't call. So who did she call? Go ahead with
You
your
should
point.
ask that person. No, what's the
So
person
really,
doing
it
with
goes
it?
Make
a
your
long way
point.
to show that it is lack of contentment and it is a mindset.
Mm.
If you have that mindset to borrow, even the day they would give you more than enough of what you need, you
You
would
borrow.
find reasons to still
To
go
still
and
Why
borrow
do you-
again.
why-
you
why-
live a life of borrowing.
The person that is giving you the money,
Mhm.
he did not borrow the money.
No.
He made the money.
Mhm.
That means you also have the
You earned
ability
it.
to make your
No,
own
they say
money.
you are fortunate.
It's not nobody is fortunate, sir.
True.
Even the thief that goes to steal, he's not fortunate. The person who didn't keep his money well is the one that is unfortunate. Because it takes effort to steal.
Mm.
It takes a lot of watching who's coming. It takes a lot of
Surprisingly,
things
they
to steal.
even pray.
Of course.
And they bring tight.
But you see, church does not have a way of knowing.
Yeah,
So we collect it with Thanksgiving.
Well, me, I feel it
Let's
has.
hear the scholarly part. Professor.
Okay.
It has much to do with planning. You know, if you avoid planning, then definitely you'll be addicted to them. Because when you plan, that is when what you said comes in. It's 5,000. And I'm working with 5,000 because that's my earning. Okay, what is my total budget for the month? On that 5,000, that income. My transportation is in, school fees. In the case of Nigeria, school fees is there, transportation, feeding is there, and then probably you ask yourself, what is remaining? But today I read something. It's about saving. And he said, save. Then what is remaining? Then make a budget for it and spend it. Don't spend. And then the remaining, that's what you save. So most of us fall in that trap of
Who wrote that?
Scholars.
scholars. I
Yes,
don't
it's
learn it,
scholar.
so-
You will just be writing something nobody will use.
you know, so you see, talking about planning, you see, when you said okay, it's
Please say what they
5,000,
said again. That you should
Eh?
what?
Save.
Okay.
Then
Save
what
before
is
you
left?
spend.
you
No,
save
don't
first.
spend
Then
before
what
you
is
save.
remaining? That's when you will spend.
Make budget.
You make budget out of it. That means I'm going back to still the planning. Because
so instead of
Spending.
spending,
Spend
then
For
saving.
saving.
then-
Saving
then
the rest,
saving
you
what
save
is
first.
remaining.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, you'll find that in that 5,000 is only 200 naira that is remaining, and that's what you will save. But in the planning, you have 5,000, and I said, okay, I'm saving 1,000 naira. So already, I know that I have 4,000. It's not 5,000 because already that one is for the saving. Then that's the remaining. The remaining is 4,000. Then that's when the budget will come in. You know, my transportation and the rest. So we fall. Most people fall in the trap of spending before saving, and at the end of the day, you find out that you don't have anything, and then you see what the world is throwing at us is to try to tell you that if you don't live a certain way, then you are inferior. And some of us are being trapped. And that's the reason why I would say, okay, the GM is wearing this kind of clothes,
Let me go and buy it.
and I will buy it.
You don't know, maybe they dashed me.
That's
Because me, if there's
Maybe
a
it's a
particular
gift.
amount, if you pass, I go to where I bend down and buy it. I don't care. That's your business. But you know, everybody has things that once they have money, they want to go and do with it. Just yesterday, someone was saying, I can't remember how she puts it, right? But she's also a coach in financial management and all that, and she was talking about how people should save money, how people should not overspend, how people should eat healthy, how people should exercise. That is also an investment for. And then I remember something I watched also. They were warning someone against an intake. And they said it's not good for your health. You know, you should. He said, if you are saying this is not good for my health, he said, what's the benefit of dying healthy? You know, because people know definitely whatever you eat, you will die. You know, and somebody said that you want to live long, that you have money to spend. I think people should not suffer because they want to save money. Because there are people that are not being fair to themselves. Even somebody has money, he's sick, he will say, go and buy me Panadol, painkiller. The sickness is still you just don't want the pain. You prefer the sickness to still be there, but you don't want to feel the pain. You understand? No. Eat well. If you don't have money to save, but you have a good source of income, there are certain people. Okay, tell me, the person that is earning 30,000 in Nigeria and he has a wife and 3 children, what is he saving? There's nothing to save.
It's barely even enough.
You understand? You are not even. And this is not to encourage borrowing. It's the debt. This is different from borrowing. The English these days, a lot of things. So if you look at somebody with 30,000, even 50,000, the person that is earning 50,000 does not sound like somebody that should have a house of his own. So that means he's renting. How much is his rent a year? Let's even say 50,000. Okay, out of the 50,000 that he's being paid, if you say 12, that's 600,000 in a year. He's paying rent of 50,000. He's left with 550. They have to buy clothes. They have to eat. How much do you eat in Nigeria today? How much? I walked into a restaurant on Sunday in this Jos. I ate 1 plate of semovita and I think 3 pieces of meat at 8,900. In the same Jos, yes. In the same Jos. When they brought the bill, I was like, no, check. This is, she said, that's how they sell here. Because I ate something with someone and I said, this is nice. And he said, where did you people even buy this food? And then one of his aides now said, he mentioned the name of the place. So I was curious. Then I just said on Sunday, I said, let me drive there and eat. Because I enjoyed that food. I really enjoyed the food. But semovita, 1 plate, was 8,900. Till today.
I'm not recovered.
No, it's not so.
Like
But I'm
you will not be
just
hungry
thinking.
again.
I'm just thinking I can afford it, that's why I paid.
Yes.
See, when I entered, I didn't bother looking for menu. I know the place looked touched up and cozy and all that. I ate and I left. But you know what? When something spoke to me, when I entered, made the order, they start, places like that, they have to cook the food afresh. Cooked it, brought it, ate it, paid, left. Nobody else entered that restaurant. I was wondering, why was I alone in a big hall? And when I finished, I kept turning to
Paying
see
for all the
if there was anything. I saw CCTV, I said, I'm safe. So when I left, I said, no wonder. When I came, it was a man and his wife, because she was pregnant. They were coming out. And I know that it's that pregnancy that pushed them to that place. But you know what, Joyce? I was telling a friend of mine who's very rich. I said, wow, I ate at so place. He said, oh, their food is very wonderful. He said, that even his secretary said that she celebrated her birthday there. I said, what? He said, yes, that his secretary celebrated her birthday there. Secretary, how much is he paying her? You see, that's how people borrow or beg. Just so that they can say, I did my birthday act. Some people will borrow, some people will sell their body, some people will do whatever it takes just so that they can take pictures eating at XYZ restaurant and show. Do you know why I'm telling you this? This is the point. If you can afford to go and eat there without feeling a pinch, much in your bank account. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm.
But the person that we are saying earns 50,000 a month, that is not a good place for you.
Mm. Mm.
It's not. Because if you extract 8,900 with the water that they gave me, and the meat I ate was beef, 3 pieces. And I didn't. No, I took one and it went in straight comfortably.
Wow.
It's not like no, it was not that big.
I was thinking it might be turkey.
No, it's just beef, the normal cow that you see passing around, not imported cow. So you see, that is it. The person that has 50,000 naira salary, is it not like 10,000 that has been gone from his account? So what are you doing with 40,000 naira? You will cry for spending that 10,000 naira foolishly.
I think people are just so in a hurry to compete with others. That's why
That's
they
the
find
reason why.
themselves-
That's the point I'm making. That you have not reached that level, but you are
Yeah.
borrowing.
Yes.
How long will you borrow to maintain that standard?
So people pick a certain lifestyle that they cannot afford, and that is why they become addicted to debt. I've heard people say over and over again, there's nothing wrong with borrowing, but do you borrow to do a capital project? Do you borrow for a need or you borrow for a want? There are people that borrow to buy phones that they don't do nothing with it, just because it's a trend. Oh, everybody's using iPhone, I need to also have an iPhone. So your salary is barely 30% of the money you buy the phone, and then
They don't. Sorry to cut in through. They don't just borrow to buy the phone. They also borrow to upgrade. iPhone this is what's trending. I heard that iPhone this is coming out. So they have not finished paying for that one. So they look for somebody that can buy what is not fully theirs already. Then they borrow money again to top it up to buy. A makeup artist. I was doing a project somewhere and I invited a makeup artist. And she came. Lo and behold, she was using iPhone 15. So when she came, I was talking with her. I said, that's an expensive phone. She said, yeah, so that she needs good pictures to post for her business. I said, the same thing, iPhone 12, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, they can all give you the same picture quality. You have a ring light. That's all it takes. And then if you have from iPhone 11, not Pro, not Max, iPhone 11, it can give you that picture quality. So I asked her, how much did you buy the phone? It was 2 point something million. So I asked her, I said, I didn't even know how much we were paying her. Because I just said, let's get a makeup artist to make all the actors and people on set. And then she said, it's 30K. And I said, how many times do you get this kind of jobs in Jos? She was quiet. I said,
30K per person?
no,
Oh,
for the whole work. She was, I think they brought her for 3 or 4 days, I think. And then every day she was staying, they would give her 30,000 for the whole period. So maybe for the 2 or 3 days, 90,000 max or 60,000. How is that? We didn't even find you through the pictures your phone took. You see? I told her, I said, we didn't find you through the pictures. So I said, if you are wise, if I were you, I wouldn't have bought an iPhone of 2 point something million to come and do a 30,000 naira makeup per day. I said the iPhone does not increase anything about your business. If I were you, I would have bought a 1.5 million naira vehicle. Learn how to drive, even brand it with the name of my makeup. She said, hey, all the people around her were just celebrating that she has this big phone. Nobody gave her this advice. I said, because you are foolish. You will not go to these people. And I even asked her, I said, is it the money from this makeup that gave? She said, no, Omo, no. My boyfriend gave me 300K and other people gave me 50, and then I borrowed. She said, there's this platform there was something she mentioned that you can do and be giving them money gradually, but she has finished paying for the phone. So I said, now, if it's raining and I call you for makeup, how would you walk your way to where I am? That she will use Bolt. I said, what if you are in a remote area that you have to come to where you will meet the Bolt vehicle? You see, you have to put your thoughts ahead. Then you know that a car is more important than this phone. There are 250 to 300,000 naira phones that can give you good pictures. Post them immediately on the go and all that. And moreover, I will not go online and be looking for the pictures you took, thinking that the qualities can translate to your abilities in makeup. No. In fact, I know that there are uplift, there are upgrades. You can send to a graphic artist and he will polish the thing and give it, and then I will fall for that. No.
In fact, there are people that will see certain pictures and be like, for the fact that you put a lot of effort into this, it means you're not really good at at this. People want to see things naturally. And
there are makeup artists in this town that don't promote anything makeup. Call them, they are busy.
Yes.
There is one, I want to have a meeting with her. Till today we have not met. 3 weeks. She said, sir, I am sorry. I am very sorry. It's just that the timing is always wrong. And there was a day she called me. She said, sir, I am making a bride up close to this place, and I know you are always here. Is it possible that we can see? I said, no, I'm in Abuja. I'm not around. 3 weeks, sir. Anytime I call, hey, sir, and I just left the house. Every day, she doesn't post makeup stuff. But she's busy, and she charges well. I think she's using iPhone 11.
Her work is picking for her.
Yes, sir.
There's a way you can become good at something that you don't even need an advert.
You don't need to advertise
it. It is recommendation. Like,
Exactly.
where did you get this done? And then somebody will just do this. See, overcoming debt addiction is something you can do. Some people feel that, you live in a world with these government policies, life is becoming so hard and hard, you cannot live without borrowing. In fact,
even the people that are borrowing, what have they done
with it
that their lives have been transformed? What?
So I think people should ask themselves, for example, this person that you're going to borrow from, or these people that you're thinking of borrowing from, what are they doing? Are they also living the life that you are living? The basic point here is you can plan. You can just plan. With purpose comes planning. Put in work. You can't just be sleeping and waking up and be looking for contact of who to borrow, where to go, which office to go and sit from morning till night waiting for the person to come in so that you can go and reduce your voice. There are a lot of things you can do. Reduce your voice and put on some kind of face like the world is ending.
Do you know that some people now are not using their original SIM?
Of course.
Because they have
borrowed.
A bank manager told me one time that a lady borrowed 500,000 from the bank. That anytime they went to the house, she was lying down on the couch. Anytime they went to the
doing
house,
nothing, and then
because
you
she doesn't pick their calls, she's not servicing the loan, she's not doing anything. So they decided to go back to the phone. You know, nobody uses address anymore. If you have a phone number, that's the easiest way to reach you. Now they went and checked, and then they found the address. That the girl does not care. So she was always lying down. Anytime they went, she was on the couch. They asked, you borrowed money? She said, yes. Say, what happened to the business? He said, I can't go and kill myself. So what did you do with the money? She brought out wigs. And I think a handbag of 100 and something thousand. And what
Out of
again?
the 500.
Yes. She already had an iPhone then. It's like 2-3 years ago. So they told her, they said, you have to face the consequences of your actions because we have to. She said no, that she knows her rights. That until it gets to so months, nothing can be done to her. And really, that was the truth. That was. So nobody showed up from the bank again. Even when it got to the time, the bank was very wise. They added 3 months to her. The bank was very wise. The manager told me that this was what he did. He just said nobody should look for her. He said, don't worry, nobody should look for her. They came to remind him that it's time to go, and this girl, that she knows the law, but this is the right time to go. He said, don't go. They reminded him, they said, sir, it's a month. He said, it's the bank that starts paying. He said, don't worry. He said, we are not paying anything. She will pay. He said one of his staff told him, she said, sir, I had a feeling that you were doing something with the girl. That's why he said we shouldn't go. After the thing now worked, she now came and confessed to say she was sorry. So what he did was he gave the girl 3 months. He said he knows how people behave when they collect money. So he gave her 3 months. On the 3rd month, they went to the house. She was home. They picked her up with her shorts and her crop top. You call it crop top, right? That was how they picked her up, and they handcuffed her. So they snapped the pictures and forwarded to her father, who was the one of the referees and all of that she put. They put it on WhatsApp, and they took the girl. That evening, the father transferred the money, 1.8 something, but she borrowed 500,000.
The interest.
Yes. And the court put some things. They say you pay this in court costs and court orders and all of that, all this language. They put 1.8 something. The father transferred it that night. Then they released the girl the next day. So when the woman said, sir, honestly, at some point I thought you were going out with the girl. That was why. He said, no, why? He said, you have to learn that when people, you heard the girl, she left Jos. She left Jos for a month. When they didn't call her, nobody cared. She said they are forgotten. Then she came back. He said that time, if you were looking for her, you would have put effort, and she would know that you are looking for her seriously. You will not meet her. And when she travels and finds out that you have been coming and you have been trailing her, she will not come back to Jos. Say, just leave her. So she came back. I think she spent 1 month plus outside of Jos, and then she came. And she was in Abuja, Lagos. He mentioned all the places, Port Harcourt, and then she came back to Jos, and then they caught her, handcuffed her. They did not put the pictures public, but they sent it to the father. 1.8 million. You see, 1.3 million naira again. You might say, people like that don't care, sir. If that the girl was not crying, she was not shouting the way they caught her, that was how she followed them. She didn't care. That's a graduate, sir. He said what tripped him was the brilliance behind her proposal. He was thinking, this girl with this 500,000. That's why people interview well and work horribly.
Like I would say, people need to take responsibility for the outcome of their lives. A lot of times, people that borrow, they have every reason to be defensive about the reason why they are borrowing. They tell you, oh, you because you just have a fortunate life, because things are actually working for you. Sometimes I wish I can sit certain people and teach them what people go through so that they can live. Like you can live a certain lifestyle. You just save yourself
People
from a
who
lot
borrow
of
you money,
troubles.
It's not like they don't have anything
You
to do with
get.
that money.
There are times that people, while you are sleeping, other people are doing certain.
It's because your story touched them. It's not, they just have a heart to help. It's not like they have the money in abundance.
Of course.
Haven't you met people that they say, look, you are looking for, honestly, I have 2K, but I can just give you the 1K. I'll hold 1K. It's an uncomfortable event for them.
Of course.
But because of how they honor your story and they really want to help, they are giving out. And it's not because they don't have anything to do with it.
Some people will still even insult you. I asked him for 2K, he's giving me just 1K. I had a lecturer that had to even explain. He got angry because he gave somebody money and the person was not appreciative. So he broke down his salary by 30 days or 31 days. So he said, you see, this 1,000 I gave you, it took me like 2 or 3 days of work by my salary now. So it means I went to work for 3 days for you. For you, but you think it's a right that you make budget from somebody's salary. You think it's a right that when you come to people and they say, I don't have at the moment, you call them all manner of names. Why can't you put yourself in that position of helping people? Most times we say, may God provide for him so that he can help us. Why can't I pray that God should provide for me to be in the position of also helping
others?
You pray for people and say, Allah emuku, may God do for you so that you can do for us. Why can't you be deliberate about your life, taking responsibility for whatever will come out? Plan. We're already in 2024, and some people at this point, debt has already accumulated. Because from the 1st of January, you're already spending, and then you have not fashioned any way to earn.
Have you paid for that data you borrowed?
Who borrowed data? I did
Borrowed
not borrow data anyway. Life is
of
happening
people
to
don't want
me.
to
It's three on the 3rd. You borrowed 3.
I borrowed from who?
From Network service provider.
On the 3rd, you borrow 3 gig.
Wow.
Now on the 10th, you borrow 10
Thank you.
False accusation. So you see, you can just plan. You can see. I've seen people that if they tell you what they are earning, you'll be amazed, and you have this life. They don't borrow. They don't borrow. See, you can't go against the principle that the Bible has already laid. If you borrow, you become the slave of the lender. There's nothing you can say about it. Whether you like say, oh, government borrow, most developed nations borrow, and all of that. You are a slave to the lender. You don't have peace. The person can talk to you however he wants to talk to, because he knows there's something.
He can call you 2 a.m.
Yes, and you have to pick the call. And you're scared of embarrassment in place and all of that. So why not plan your life so that you can have that freedom that God has already given you already? I know that for some people that there are situations that you found yourself that this need you're faced with. Your family have to eat, for example. And then at the moment, maybe you've been expecting, you did business or you invested your money in something and it didn't come out. And then school fees, you have to pay the school fees, you have to eat, the children's bills, you have to pay, and all of that. Yes, you had to borrow, but it shouldn't be a lifestyle. We're talking about debt addiction. When you are addicted, it means it has become a lifestyle. It's not a one-time thing or a two-time thing. Like it has become a lifestyle that you even have to borrow to settle another, and then when this person comes for you again, you have to look for another person to borrow to settle. You don't have your reputation is already tarnished because of how in a particular environment everybody's talking about how I have money with this girl. This one too. Say, oh, even you, me too. He collected, she collected. That is the image that you already have. Why? Because you fail to plan and you have adopted a lifestyle that is far above what you earn. You're having just one stream of income. It's just 50,000. Your house rent is up and above 50,000. And you are so relaxed that when you close 4 o'clock, the next thing you think of doing is either sleeping, you're watching movies, no ideas is coming out. See, even politicians cannot even change or build this nation. Politicians don't even build nations. They banked on business people, entrepreneurs, and innovative individuals, because they know these are the people that build nations. Far beyond your salary, what can I do? Can you be innovative? Can you think? Can you a lot of people have money, but they're looking for people that have ideas. That is what will help you. Don't just sit down and say, I've graduated from school and there's no job. You have hands, you have legs, you have head, you can think, and then you are relaxed and pointing at somebody and say, this person is because you are fortunate. Do you know there are people that close 5 o'clock and they go back, pick up another job till 12 midnight before they sleep?
Of course. And they find joy doing it.
True.
Yes.
They find joy doing it because
They wake up in the morning, they go to office again.
That is why Nigerians make it abroad. You see, when you are with someone in Nigeria, they are always talking to you, right? You are always talking, chatting. When they go abroad, they stop. You think they are being arrogant or proud. No, they are not. The system there is way different from what you have here. You have jobs that you can do for only 2 hours. You have jobs that you can do for only 6 hours. You have the regular 9 to 5. And then you have what you can do in the night. A friend of mine, Francis, he was working at the train station. He was working as a storekeeper. And what is that his night job? He has children. So you have to work like that. You have to work like that. And at work, you don't pick calls. In fact, they even leave their phones at home because there's no point.
And you don't sleep. That's why they take
Sleep and see, sir. Sleep and see.
Coffee,
Because you know what?
That coffee is not big
Their
man
system,
something. It's just to
their
keep them
system,
awake.
their system is built in such a way that everybody is working for the government. So the government will make sure that if you mess up while working, you pay by going to jail. Because
you can't deny them income.
the government is the one in charge of gas. The government is the one in charge of electricity. The government is in charge of water. The government is in charge of transport. The government is in charge of train. The government is in charge of what the road that you follow every day. And anything that you pay goes to government. So they have to create a lot of job opportunities. The more job opportunities they create, the more money they make.
Comes in, you know. And
Imagine
infrastructure
that you have a $20 job in an hour, and you are doing 9 to 5. Let's say you are doing 12 hours. So do you know your bills there? They will remove tax when they are paying you.
straight up.
Yes. And then from when you want to go and buy shirt or something, you pay tax on what you buy. When you are entering transport, there is tax on it. Everything. So it cuts your yawo. There's no, I want to go and visit this person, or this person is coming to visit me. It cuts all of that down. So when people go abroad, there's nobody to borrow you money.
You have to work.
You must work, sir. You must work. And if you are looking for a job, there are jobs, even though most of them are menial, but there are jobs. Do you know somebody left this country a millionaire? He was packing feces abroad. He told me. I'm not saying 5 years ago. I'm saying till tomorrow. But he said it is paying. I say I don't care. But you see, you have grown to become this person in this country. Send your country, your family there. You stay here and you keep doing your hustle. Nobody will borrow you money abroad. If you are looking for 1,000, they can have mercy on you and give you 100 and tell you how you do the rest. It's up to you. But you see, why people borrow mostly is they want to show you that they can also live to that standard. There are people that will meet you and tell you, sir, please, what I want right now is just one plate of food. You are looking for money. Say, no, sir, just buy for me, please. Just buy, so that you will know that this is the problem. A guy met me with shorts and all that. He said, I'm a copper. I was fixing my car. He said, I'm a copper. That I cannot beg. I cannot do this. I just came so that if there's anything you want me to do, so that you can pay me. I just want to do it. I said, oh, here that we are, I can't give you any work to do. It's somebody's garage. It's not, so they are the ones that you should look for a job for. They have what you can do, where you have to do apprenticeship and all of that. So he's just looking for something that he can be doing for people to pay him. So I said, I don't have. So he said, thank you, sir. He was leaving. So I called him. I said, take 1,000. Go and eat with it. Later on, the mechanic called me and said, did you give that guy money? I said, yes. He said he will come back here and he will beg from another person. I said, He said he's a copper. They laughed. They said now this money he's going to buy drugs. This weed, marijuana and all of that. They are going to smoke it. When they are done, they will sleep. When the thing is gone, they will come back to beg. He said there are plenty. They know them. Sir, even if you want to be nice to people, people give you reasons to believe otherwise.
True. So when the genuine ones come, you won't even
I said that earlier.
differentiate.
When you borrow and borrow and borrow and people know you as a borrower, the day that your son is truly in the hospital, they will not give you money, and that boy can die. They will not give you the money.
Irresponsibility, like it comes from you not taking responsibility for the outcome of your life. Most times people just keep giving excuses, blaming people for their predicament, for where they are. Things will not change. Its situation will not even get better. It is you. What you do about what life throws at you is what makes things change.
How long will you continue to borrow?
How long will you continue
Because
to?
this problem will not go.
Yes.
This problem will not go. There is a guy, he's popular in Abuja, he's begging. He's a sickler. He's always begging. He's always begging. And then one time I saw him, I said, I have helped you at Bingham University. You told me that he said that expensive university that his parents don't. I said, I have helped you by the ATM. I gave you money because you said you want to buy your drug. He was always having this penta, this thing. He will show you that this is what he's an addict, even though the thing turned out to be an addiction. He said he has borrowed money from this loan app. He has done this. He has loaned. I was eating somewhere and the guy came in and with his feet swollen. Very pathetic. I told him, I said, you are into drugs. He said, sir, if you are not willing to help me, let me go. He was trying to run. I said, stop him there. I said, why are you doing this to yourself as young as you are? How did you enter Bingham University last time? He now said, that's how he used to do. He would go to a university and he would tell people he's a student so that they can help him. I said, where are your parents? I think he said Kogi State or somewhere. So you are in Abuja. This is what you are doing so that you can keep injecting yourself. So if you want to help people, sir, you will think otherwise because you know that you have been a victim. You can give 5,000 and you have just empowered somebody to be in a worse situation than he is. People that are into drugs now, they don't look it. They look very responsible. They tell you, well, you know that's what they want.
And really, people are addicts and some don't have any idea that they are. They are always borrowing. They don't even know. So unless you get to a position where you have that understanding that you have been addicted to borrowing and you show that you need help, that is when genuine help will come to you. When you're addicted to borrowing, you're not you can't have any control over it, because today you're borrowing here, tomorrow anybody that wants to talk you out of it is automatically an enemy to you. So really, if you are an addict to borrowing, the best that can be done is that you look for help.
And you start telling help.
Yes, you look for help, so that when people see you doing that, they are always there to checkmate you. You find people that you are accountable to, and eventually it stops. It cannot stop overnight. Even people that drug addicts, drunkards, alcoholic, they stop gradually. So it's something that eventually would help.
Yeah, I think it's not late. It's good, like you said. Speak out, look for help. And you see, sometimes we always say it here: the cycle of people you keep. And then it's not us that is saying. The Bible says it. If you keep foolish people around you, definitely you keep people that borrow left, right, center because they see nothing wrong with it. And some of them is not their fault. Sometimes you find out is the background that they are coming from. So they are being choked with wrong, negative information about certain lifestyle. And then growing up now, they are struggling with it. And people like that, that's where the addiction comes in. Like, you really need to help them, and it's not something that is just a day thing, that thing will just go. You need people that are good managers, people that have outgrown certain things in life, and they can sit you down and coach you and advise you on how to go about certain things. And you see this issue of miracle and the rest. That thing have really killed us. And then the system again, sir. The system have done us so much damage. That's when you are trying to talk to someone that doesn't care to hear, out of concern. Maybe you notice something and then you are trying to just give your own, candid advice to, like, can you just reduce it? This thing is not. He will tell, I beg, even the federal government that owns the trillion with the budget, they are still borrowing.
What do
you have to tell me and the rest? Then you will know that if the person is not ready, you understand. So you see, we just have to be contented with what we have, and then be open-minded, ready to give ourselves for grooming, for people to help us. And I think,
you were talking about somebody say even federal government. Federal government.
Finish what you think. What
you he said even federal government.
From there, no. What I say, when we bring our minds together and agree with certain things, all of this thing gradually, if something that you are struggling with, before you know it, you'll be the one giving testimony and then helping other people to get out of it.
He borrowed money to complete his school fees, and when the day that he gave to pay, he didn't pay. It entered another semester. When the girl insisted, she said she would call police. So he said she should call now, even federal government are in China. So it has become his fundamental human right to borrow. But you can overcome that addiction. Yeah. You can actually overcome it. The Bible says the borrower is a slave to the lender. You don't want to be a slave. In Christ, there is freedom. So why would I not go walk wherever I want to walk? Be wherever I want to be, instead of me just trying to look for shortcuts, running helter-skelter, explaining, lying upon lie, collecting to settle and all of that. Proverbs 13:11 says, wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it. Let's not disregard process. A lot of people just think that I want to be a millionaire in a day, but little by little, you increase it. You don't just have to be a millionaire in a day. You don't have to tie that wrapper you cannot afford. You don't have to eat that meal that you cannot afford. If today I cannot afford it, I can work towards affording it. And that's why Paul said, I know what it means to be in hunger, and I know what it means to have. I was in this place and I was in that place. I know. But you think what he has learned in all of that is that contentment is actually very important. So let's not disregard. Process is not a course. Fashion how to earn. In this year and beyond, incremental wealth is what you should be thinking of. Your demands, your needs will not decrease. It will keep increasing. So what you just need to do is to increase your source of income as well. Be innovative. If you need to start up any business, start up. If you need to go into any kind of business like positive that will make you earn more, do that. But also manage your spending. Like if you need to reduce your spending, extravagant lifestyle, reduce it. He talked about association. Sometimes people that find themselves in this act of being addicted to borrowing or in debt is because they kept circles that everybody's showing up. In 1 month or in 2 months time, you have to change your car, you have to buy this kind of hair, you have to buy this kind of shoe. That's what the conversation is all about. So if you find yourself there and your income is not up to that, you find yourself borrowing because you want to meet up the standard of the association that you keep. So be contented and watch the association you keep. The things that you also consume, be mindful of it. But in all of that, I think the watchword is contentment. Thank you all for doing this with me.
Thank you.
Great conversation. I want to really appreciate the ECWA executive for this platform and for their support. Our supporters out there, we are really grateful. Thank you for your support to ECWA Television International, cast and crew. We are grateful. We'll see you tomorrow, same time. Stay blessed.